Today, we've got a new name for Quizizz and your chance to get some swag with that new name on it, plus Edpuzzle's Move Beyond video, new add-ons in Google Classroom, and a handwriting-friendly font designed just for students. Plus, in the Soapbox moment, I talk about my son learning to drive and what we're learning from the bumps in the road. Let's get to it.
Welcome to the Educational Duct Tape Podcast with Jake Miller.
Welcome in, folks. Welcome to the Educational Duct Tape Podcast. It is officially every teacher's favorite time of year. I think most teachers, let's say everybody, I shouldn't make assumptions. It is officially most teachers' favorite time of year. It is summertime, as DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince once said it much better than I just said it. It is officially summer. I hope that you're relaxing. I hope that you're enjoying yourself. I hope that whatever makes you happy is happening right now for you. And I appreciate you tuning in and sharing part of your summertime with me. Before we get in today's episode, we will be back next week with another episode. I've got a interview with a great EdTech friend of mine. I'll let that be a surprise for you next week who that is, and some updates to keep you learning and keep bringing information to you as summer goes on. So please make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss next week's amazing episode, again, with a wonderful EdTech friend of mine. Today, we've got 5, updates about some EdTech tools, a Soapbox moment, which I haven't done in a little while, and if you listen closely, your chance to win some swag with the new name of Quizizz on it. So Quizizz is changing their name. I'm going to tell you shortly what that new name is, and I'm going to give you a chance to win some swag, either a t-shirt or some socks with that brand new name for everybody's favorite quiz tool that's now more than just a quiz tool. Quizizz, I'm going to give you a chance to win some of that swag. But before that, let's get into today's Soapbox moment. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Let me just grab my soapbox from over here. Yeah. There we go. That's perfect. Climb up on there. Since you've heard in past episodes about my son learning to drive, I thought you might like a quick update. So my son, who just a few months ago was nervously circling the parking lot, is now less than a month away from turning 16. Yikes. And in preparation for that moment, he is driving more and more. And while I'd love to tell you it's been a smooth, completely uneventful and unexciting ride, it has not. It's not been horrible, but let me paint the picture here for you. So a few weeks ago, he was pulling into the garage, nice and slow, doing everything right, checking everything around him, when bump, side mirror meets garage frame. It came with a little mark on the mirror, but we were both okay. Then another day, he was backing out of our driveway with my wife and gently tapped a neighbor's mailbox. Just in case our neighbors are listening, I'd like to clarify there was no real damage, but still, it was a whole thing. We've also had some close calls in busy parking lots, backing up and not understanding his turn radius, a few overzealous turns, and more than one moment where my wife or I have instinctively reached for that imaginary brake pedal that we wished was really on the passenger side. Now, if you're a parent or you've ever taught a teenager how to drive, you know these moments come with the territory. They are not the exception. They are not a surprise. They are part of the process. And here's what I keep telling him. The bumps along the way, they're not signs you're doing it wrong or will never learn to drive. They are part of how you get better. Because if we expect every step of the learning journey to be perfect, we're setting ourselves up for disappointment. And worse, we're teaching kids to fear mistakes instead of to learn from them. And isn't that the exact lesson we need in our classrooms? Right now, many educators are preparing to try big, brave things, exploring AI, implementing new curricula, handing over more control in the learning journey to students, experimenting with new tech tools. And guess what? The launches of those big, brave things won't be smooth. They won't be uneventful. Sometimes the AI chatbot doesn't answer the way you expected. Sometimes the tech tool doesn't work right. It's blocked on the internet. Who knows? Sometimes the lesson flops. Sometimes students just don't engage with something the way you had hoped. And yeah, sometimes you metaphorically back into a mailbox. But those moments, that's where the growth happens, especially if we reflect on them. There's this idea in design thinking called failing forward. It means that instead of fearing failure, you build it into the process. You expect the bumps, and you use them as information, as data to help you course correct. And that's what my son is doing. Every awkward left turn, every too close curb, every oops moment, it's shaping him into a better, more confident driver. Now, that requires him reflecting on the experience, and often it requires my wife or I providing honest feedback for him to think about. It doesn't come from getting it all right the first time. It comes from learning when you don't. And the same goes for you in your classroom. Trying something new, especially something as big as AI, won't always be easy. There will be missteps, but every small failure is a chance to learn, recalibrate, get better, and most importantly, to model that for the learners in your classroom. They need to see us behave that way, right? They need to see us be comfortable with the bumps in the road, and they need to see us learn from them. So wherever you are in your teaching journey, maybe you're still in the parking lot. Maybe you've had your first mailbox or rearview mirror moment. Maybe you're cautiously merging onto the highway. Wherever you are, remember this: the bumpy road is the process. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep learning. And hey, if you ever need someone to hit the imaginary brake pedal or yell, "Stop sign, stop sign, stop sign," well, you figure it out. I've got a lot of practice. Before we jump into today's edition of EdTech and Education News and Updates, a quick reminder: if something in today's segment makes you go, "Ooh, I need to try that," or not for me, or "Yeah, but I've got a better option for that," just let me know. I would love to hear your insights. Post on Bluesky using hashtag #EduDuctTape, or leave a voice message for the show at speakpipe.com/EduDuctTape. On social media this week, you may be seeing folks, myself included, smashing open pink piñatas to reveal some big news. Quizizz has a new name. When I broke mine open, I discovered that they're reintroducing themselves as Wayground. If you're a longtime listener or follower, you know that I've long been a fan of Quizizz. Over the years, I have regularly talked about it being one of, if not the, best tool for getting actionable data by administering gamified formative assessments. And that really fit the name, right? Quizizz. It's like the plural of the word quiz, except harder to spell. Yay! But if you've listened and followed me over the last few years, you've heard me talk about their accommodations, their slides-based interactive lessons, their accessibility, their AI-generated resources they've been coming out with, their translation options, their app smash with PhET simulations, the differentiation they offer, their interactive video feature, their math practice tool, Voyage Math. And you know what? Before I list the other ones, let's just say you've heard me talk about a whole lot more than just Quizizz. And I mean the plural of the word quiz, Quizizz, plural, Quizizz, not the old name of the tool. If they're a lot more than just a quiz tool now, then maybe their name should show that. You know, in recent years, Quizizz has done a lot that feels like a shift from just how do we make a fun quiz to how do we help every student learn and make it fun. And that's what the new name is trying to capture. Wayground blends that sense of purpose, finding a way for each student, with the playground energy the platform's always had. It's still about joyful learning, but now it signals that there's room for every learner on the field, or in this case, on the playground. Their press release indicates that part of the name change is about them doubling down on thoughtful use of AI. They're talking about AI supporting teachers by working in the background to handle translations, adapt difficulty, and power features like dyslexia font and read aloud, so the teacher can stay focused on the kid right in front of them. As part of the rebrand, Wayground is rolling out some updates for the 2025-26 school year, including curriculum alignment for finding standards-based resources and finding them fast, lesson bundles to streamline planning and student access, a flexible AI hub to turn a single file into multiple interactive formats, expanded accommodations that work across videos and slides and assessments, and the continuation of their tool Voyage Math, which is an adaptive tool for middle school math. Will it take a minute to get used to the new name? Yeah, for sure. I've said Quizizz in 100 PD sessions, dozens of podcast episodes, hundreds of social media posts, and one book. But if this new name helps more folks see all of the amazing things this platform can do, I am all for it. And hey, let's celebrate the new name. I'm giving away a Wayground shirt or a pair of Wayground socks to 3 listeners who help spread the word. Just post on social media sometime this week, mention the name change, that's part 1, tag Wayground, that's part 2, use the hashtag #EduDuctTape, that's part 3, and share something you love about using Wayground. And then I will pick 3 folks across all of the social media platforms to win. If you've got a favorite Wayground feature that goes beyond the old Quizizz name, I'd love to hear what's making the biggest impact in your classroom. Tell us about it. So, fonts don't usually make headlines in the EdTech world, but this one's worth your attention. Google for Education released a new handwriting font superfamily, not just a font superfamily, and they're calling it Playwrite, Playwrite. So not playwright like Shakespeare, playwright like the word play, and then write like writing, right? And it's designed with one goal in mind: helping students learn to write by hand. Yes, you read that right. A font as a handwriting instructional tool. Now, those of you who teach handwriting in the lower grades, you're going to be thankful about this. So Playwrite is already live in Google Workspace and in Google Classroom, and it's built on some serious research about handwriting. It's tailored to the handwriting styles of over 40 countries, based on an 18-month global study called Primarium. What a cool name, Primarium. This wasn't just about choosing cute letters, farmer's daughter, I'm looking at you. It was about understanding how students actually learn to write. One thing that I think is really cool are the new Playwright guides. With these, the font actually comes with those horizontal lines, like the regular line, the dash line, and the regular line that we all remember from our elementary school classrooms. So we can now use these to create practice resources with text that we select. So we could write in the student's name, the teacher's name, the city, favorite sports team, stuff about Taylor Swift. You pick the text based on student interest. Hey, use AI to help you generate text, and then pop it over into Playwright font and print it out for the kids to trace, right, and practice with. You could see these new fonts if you want to by going to the Google Fonts page and looking for Playwright, or just go and add new fonts in Google Docs, let's say, and search for Playwright. Again, Playwrite. If you have a creative idea for how to use Playwright in your lessons or your stations or your centers, I would love to hear what you're thinking. Please share. Edpuzzle has long been the go-to for making videos interactive, but starting this summer, they're stepping outside the video box. They recently announced a beta rollout of 2 new tools: Edpuzzle Quizzes and Edpuzzle Slides. It's limited currently to select schools, but a full release is expected later this summer. So the two pieces, first is Edpuzzle Quizizz. It lets you build standalone interactive assessments. Think timers, points, leaderboards, the whole gamified vibe we're used to from a lot of other tools. And with slides, you can import in Google Slides or PDFs, drop in questions, and track responses just like you would with videos in Edpuzzle, except doing it with slides, which is pretty cool. I have to be honest, this doesn't really feel like anything new, anything earth-shattering, anything mind-blowing. There are other tools that do these things, but it's always nice when teachers only have to use one tool. So some of you might have been using Edpuzzle for videos and then something else for these quizzes and things like that. And maybe now this will give you the option to do both of them in one place. I really like it when assessment data can be all together in one spot, which helps it streamline instructional decisions that we can make instead of looking here and here for student learning data. Now maybe we look in one place. So if you're already an Edpuzzle user, I think this is great news for you, and I'm super interested to hear what you think of it when you get access. So when you do get that access, please share. Small update, but a handy one. Google Classroom just added 4 new tools to its growing list of integrated add-ons for teaching and learning upgrade or Education Plus users. So teachers on those special accounts can now access FigJam, Education Perfect, Discovery Education, and Autodesk Tinkercad directly from inside Classroom. No more bouncing between tabs or chasing links. So if you're a STEM teacher, for example, and you use Tinkercad with your learners, you now, if you're on one of these plans, can do that from right inside of Classroom instead of hopping over in a separate tab to get into Tinkercad. So that means the 3D design in Tinkercad, as well as collaborative whiteboarding and curriculum content and real-world media and those other ones, all can be right inside of your assignment flow in Google Classroom. Again, to be clear though, these add-ons are only available if your district has the Teaching and Learning Upgrade or Education Plus accounts. So not all of you are going to be seeing this, but if you do have access, these integrations can really streamline how you deliver and grade content across tools. And just in case you've lost track, add-ons are not new, just these add-ons are new. Add-ons have been around for about 3 or so years in Google Classroom. They already include things like Edpuzzle, Kahoot, Pear Deck, Nearpod, Adobe Express, Newsela. There's about 20 total right now. So this ecosystem is becoming a real one-stop shop where you could be inside of Classroom and assign your stuff from your other tools without having to leave. So I would love to hear how you're using these add-ons. What's been the most seamless or surprising one for you so far? Here's something a little different, but really worth bookmarking, especially if you teach writing. On Bluesky, I recently came across a project from Marcus Luther. He's one of the hosts of the Broken Copier podcast. This project that he made is a collection of 40 innovative sentence structures from authors like Maya Angelou, Toni Morrison, and honestly, I'm not a writing teacher, so a bunch of other ones that I've never heard of. But if you're a writing teacher, you're probably like, wow, that author's in there too. I don't know, but you're probably excited about it. I will say the sentences from these authors, even though I don't know the authors, the sentences from these other authors are amazing. They're really cool. They're beautiful use of the English language. So while I don't know the authors, I can tell you the sentences are amazing, regardless of how amazing the authors are. And each of the sentences that Luther shares in here is paired with a teacher's note, a short explanation of the technique being used, and a prompt the students can try. So this means that writing teachers, for example, can take one of these, it's already on a slide that he's provided to you, show it on the slide, show the original sentence, read over the teacher's notes, and give the students a prompt to try to utilize the same format themselves too. That's really cool. It's not just about mentor texts. It's about honoring sentence-level craft, the kind that's often overlooked in favor of big picture structure or standard essay rubrics. Just this beautiful use of the English language is often overlooked, I think. I think it'd be really cool for teachers to use one of these per week, let's say, for the whole school year. While I love how applicable this resource is, I also love how personal the project is. So Marcus didn't just pull these lines from a Google search. He didn't type in, give me 40 great sentences. He pulled them from books that he's read. He's dog-eared the pages. He's reread these sentences. He's scribbled notes by them and highlighted them. He pulled these sentences out himself while reading, and these sentences stuck with him. They moved him, and he said, you know what? Kids need to learn about these. So we created this resource and then shared it out with other educators. He also, not only is he sharing these 40 sentences with others, he's inviting others to contribute their own favorite sentences and reflections on them so that this resource can keep growing and reflect a wide range of voices and ideas. I want to point out the elephant in the room here. In a world where AI can write a passable 5-paragraph essay, helping students play with sentence structure and voice feels more important now than ever. Letting them see that there's something special about writing. It's not something we just want to let AI do for us, right? It's neat to be able to write in these ways. And so he's modeling this and giving educators a chance to share that love of writing with their learners. I think this resource does make that doable. Even if you only got 5 minutes in class, you could pull out just one of them and go over it in those 5 minutes. So if you're teaching writing next year, especially in middle or high school, this is one to check out for sure. And if you use it, I'd love to know how you might use it or what kind of sentences you love out of here. The link is in the show notes. Please do check it out. That's it for this round of EdTech and education news and updates. If you've got thoughts on any of today's topics, hit me up, #EduDuctTape on social media like Bluesky or anywhere, or share a audio message with the show at speakpipe.com/EduDuctTape. I would love to hear how you're using these updates in real classrooms, or how do you plan to use them this coming school year if you're on summer break right now. Anyhow, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all that you do for your learners. Please make sure that you're subscribed so that you don't miss next week's episode. Thank you, folks. Have a good day.
Thank you for listening to the Educational Duct Tape Podcast. Please consider rating and reviewing the show on your favorite podcast app. #EduDuctTape.